Welcome to my channel. My name is Andrea, and today we are making this beautiful big sunflower deco mesh wreath. I'm using this 12-inch wire wreath form for the base of the wreath, and this half styrofoam ball, which is 3.8 inches by 7.8 inches, and this will become the center of the wreath. I'm using a bunch of different deco mesh colors, including green, orange, and an autumnal plaid color. I'm also using a mustard yellow burlap and a roll of regular brown burlap. To start, I'm cutting pieces of the green mesh, and this will become the leaves of the sunflower. I'm using a self-healing cutting mat and a rotary cutter, and I'm cutting a 12 by 12 inch piece. Now that this piece is done, I'm cutting off the bottom section of this roll, and this piece is 8 inches wide. The exact measurements really don't matter too much. You could play around with the size and see what you like best and what works for your wreath. I'm continuing to cut these pieces, starting with the 12-inch and then cutting off the bottom 8-inch section. Now I'm taking green pipe cleaners and cutting them in half, then twisting them onto the outer ring of my wire wreath. And I'm placing one pipe cleaner per section of the wreath form. I do end up going back in at the very end and adding a couple more of the greenery for the green leaves, but I will show you that later on. I'm folding each piece of green mesh in half, then pinching the middle to make a bow. And now I'm tying each of the bows onto the wreath using the pipe cleaners. Again, fold it in half, then pinch the middle all together and tie it onto the wreath with the pipe cleaner in the center of the bow. Next, I'm taking this plaid deco mesh and cutting it into 12-inch long pieces. This roll of mesh is 10 inches wide. I'm cutting a bunch of pieces because I'm not totally sure how many I'm going to be using, but you can always make more. I'm doing the same thing with the orange mesh, cutting them into 12-inch wide pieces. Next, I'm taking the mustard yellow burlap roll, and I'm cutting it into 12-inch long pieces. This roll of burlap is 5 inches wide. I'm not going to be cutting the brown burlap just yet because we're going to be using that for the center of the wreath. I'm cutting a bunch of brown pipe cleaners in half, and then I will be tying these onto the wreath to attach the rest of the deco mesh bows. I'm starting with the plaid mesh on the second row from the outside of the ring. I'm folding each piece so two of the corners go together. Then I'm pinching the middle together and tying it onto the wreath in the center of this little bow. On the next row of the wreath, I'm attaching all of the orange mesh bows. And I'm using the same method as the previous color, folding each mesh piece so two of the corners line up, then pinching the middle together and tying the bows onto the wreath. Next, I'm making petals out of the mustard yellow burlap. I decided these pieces that I had cut were too long, so I'm cutting them in half. Fold them so you have the corner at the top, then pinch the bottom together to make a petal shape. And I'm tying this bottom piece onto the wreath using the pipe cleaners. And I'm continuing with the rest of my yellow burlap pieces all around the ring. Now for the center of the sunflower, I'm going to wrap this half styrofoam ball in strips of burlap. I'm wrapping the burlap around the top of the ball to see how long of pieces I will need, then cutting it off and using this strip as a guide to cut the rest of the strips. I'm using hot glue to attach all of the burlap strips to the styrofoam ball. It was a little bit hard to press down because obviously the hot glue seeps through the holes of the burlap. I'm crisscrossing some of the strips, making sure to cover the whole top of the ball. Now I'm turning the wreath over and pressing the burlap covered styrofoam ball into the center. I decided to add a few more of the yellow petals, so I'm hot gluing those to the outer edge of where the burlap is. And now I'm tucking the ends of the rest of the petals in so you can't see them. I decided I needed a few more of the Deco mesh bows, so I'm adding more of the plaid bows and more of the green bows because those ones were getting a little bit lost at the back of the wreath. Here is the completed sunflower Deco mesh wreath. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more. And I'll see you next time.